And we're live. Okay. Now, because we have a chat window open, that means that you can let me know if you can hear us, because we're all slightly learning how this all works. But in about 4.5 minutes time, either way, we are going to be starting the show. Excellent stuff. We're all good, says Graham Small. Yes, so this is a slightly different setup than what we usually have. Google Plus is moving its Hangouts feature over to YouTube Live. So yeah, it's just a case of learning how to communicate with people. It looks like we actually have a full kind of chat room instead of the Q&A. Slight difference to that is that I'm going to have to really keep an eye on the chats that are coming in instead of being able to highlight what people are wanting to say. The other thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on as well is our contributions from our live reports, which are going to be from Fan Expo Canada. I suspect that one's not going to be working because of the connection at that particular event. But you never know, we may actually get some kind of connection from Patricia. What else? We are definitely going to be having two live reports from Dragon Con. Michael P is going to be joining us. I suspect he's going to be our first live report. And then we're going to be going over to Star Trek Mission New York, which is a repop event which is happening. All about Star Trek, of course. Alyssa Franks is there and has been wandering around and taking in the sights and sounds. And also we're going to be joined by Bryan Stevenson, who is the North America brand director for repop. And I think that's actually, I think the Star Trek event is actually his little baby, because the way that repop work, and I think this is fantastic, that all the staff that work for repop kind of like move around roles. So for example, Bryan at Star Wars Celebration was in control of the merch area, whereas Mary Franklin was the actual controller of the whole event. This time it's a bit of a switch round. Bryan is the one that is pretty much running Star Trek Mission. So very much looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Do let everyone know that we're live. If you want to share the YouTube video, at least you don't have to share anything else that's around. You don't have to share Google Plus events. You don't have to share web pages. You can just share the YouTube event. Yeah, the YouTube video, sorry. And we'll go live in 1.5 minutes. We are wanting, of course, to try and get some pictures. If you want to send them into pics at Englishman SD, get this right, pics at anenglishmaninsandiego.com. If you want to get those images in of your cons, God knows that even past San Diego, so many events that have been taking place. Loads happening here in the UK this weekend. Nice, which I believe is in, I want to say Romford, or is it Norfolk? Basically, that's happening this weekend. You've had Bournemouth Comic-Con, which is an MCM event. As I've been told by Andrew English, you've got Heroes and Villains in California. Lots of things happening. Lots of things to talk about. So do get your pictures sent in to pics at anenglishmaninsandiego.com. Andrew, it says that you sent yours last week. I'm going to have to check that, because I'm not entirely sure I saw that email come in. But there we go. And if I go to this and turn the share off, and turn that off as well, and open all my other windows, which I can see what I'm doing. And this is very, very strange because I'm not seeing like a Q&A window on the right-hand side. I am looking at the YouTube comments, however. This is a slightly different arrangement to how we usually run the Hangouts, so bear with us. We'll get there. We'll get there. Welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Len Sultana. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Each week from 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, we talk everything about San Diego Comic-Con, con culture, and all the pop culture that surrounds all these events that are happening across the globe. Heaven knows that this weekend is a very busy one, considering we have NICE. I want to actually differentiate between the two events. There's NICE, which is taking place this weekend here in the UK, which I believe is in Norfolk. It's ICE next week, which is the International Comic Expo. We spoke to Shane Chebsey last week. You've also got in the States, you've got Star Trek Mission, you've got Dragon Con, you've got Heroes and Villains. You've also got in Canada, you've got Fan Expo. Hopefully, we're going to be having live interaction and live reports from two of those cons, which is why I'm now going to just go to my other window and invite one of them in. So it's we're definitely looking for Michael P to join us, who's going to hopefully give us a report from Dragon Con, which is very much it seems like a convention on steroids, which is absolutely brilliant. Very, very big for cosplayers. So what I'll do is I'll just send an invite, because all of these people are joining us on mobile data. So I'm trying to make sure that they're not going to bleed out of their data resources. So if you can bear with us. Either that, or we can go to any of our others, because like I say, I know that Alyssa is on standby. She's going to be joining us. Hopefully Bryan Stevenson is going to be with him as well. So if I just also send a little bit of a shunt to Michael, just let him know that we're ready to have a chat with him. Don't forget, if there's anything that you do want us to talk about on today's show, do head to the chat room of the event on the YouTube page, and let us know if there's anything that you want us to talk about. There's plenty to talk about. And as it happens, straight away, launching into it, we have Michael P, who's joining us. Hello, Michael. How are you, sir?
A little frustrated.
Well, I could imagine. Wow. Okay, let's just turn up the volume a little bit. Oh,
hello.
And we've got Alyssa as well, who's peaking early. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I know that you're okay for data, but let's talk Dragon Con first. How are you doing, Michael? Whereabouts are you within the convention center? Or
okay.
Where is it? Where's it held?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I just want to show you this cover, and the cover art on this is amazing. I actually talked to the artist. It's actually I posted a picture of him on Facebook. But right now, take a look. This is the Marriott. I'm going to leave it on portrait for just a bit, just to give you a feel for this hotel, right? Take a look at this.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So you feel you get a better picture of it as the portrait than landscape. But let me turn to landscape. So, oh, sorry about that, but this thing's all right. Look at the people. This is the primary host hotel. There are, like, I think 4 host hotels. There's the Marriott Marquis. There's the Hyatt Regency. There's the Hilton, the Sheraton, and the Westin. That's 5. Okay. So there are actually 5 hotels. Okay. But anyway, this is the most packed, obviously, and this is Party Central. And apparently, you know, at night, the people here, instead of nerds, you think maybe they're footballers or something, you know? Yeah. So it is like a crazy here. And if you look down there too, can you see those? Do you see all the people in costumes coming up?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but let me see. Let me just check something real quick.
I did quite like there was a joke on Twitter earlier, basically stating that the one thing about Dragon Con is the queues for the escalators are actually longer than the queues to get into the panel rooms.
Oh yeah, well yeah, the queues are real. You know, the lines for the escalators are real bad. I'm gonna walk around, try to walk around really slowly, but they've got some great cosplay here. It's just really incredible. Now again, the only really bad part is that it's kind of in the hotels and the rooms are not as big. There's no ballroom 20, no hall H,
It's
nothing
all
like that. So
it's all down to the capability of the actual room itself, isn't it? Or the hotel
thank
itself.
you.
So you took it. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right. And they're actually, I mean, take a look at the costumes. I'm just standing here. Look at all the number of costumes that have just walked by since I've been standing here, right? It really is incredible, and they're really good. These are really good costumes. I'm going to slowly walk around so you guys don't get weirded out. But and the great thing about Dragon Con is what they do is they actually have an orientation for people who are new to Dragon Con. We didn't do it because we didn't get here in time. But like the day before, they'll do, Thursday, they'll have like walking tours to take everyone around to show them where everything is.
That's brilliant.
It
That's
really is. It's
brilliant.
really, really, and the fans, this is all fan stuff. So I mean, and then the great is you see the kids, the parents with the kids. The kids and the parents have matching like costumes or something. One can be the villain, and one is the hero or something. It's really great and stuff. So I mean, Are you guys seeing the costumes?
We are. I mean, the one thing that I've kind of worked out about Dragon Con is very much kind of like it is very cosplay heavy, but also when I've read about Dragon Con in the past, it also seems very adult orientated. It's very much kind of like
We're broadcasting. I'm just showing you guys live. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. They were just posing. I told them they didn't have to pose. I'm just broadcasting live. No, but go ahead, Linda. I'm sorry.
But it's okay. No, it's kind of like very. It's almost like a convention after a 2-drink minimum. It's very, it can get very rowdy. But like you say, there seems to be a lot of kids available, or lots of families there. Is that right?
Well, take a look at this one over here. Look how cute this is.
Okay, what we're seeing on screen, just for the audio version, we've got a very baby Ray pushing around a BB-8 luggage trolley. Oh, she's being very bolshy for a Ray.
Her mother is kind of like saying no, 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 and everyone's eating pizza. I've never seen so many pizza eaters. As I walked over here too. Oh, by the way, I saw Gareth Lloyd, Yanto from Torchwood on the way over here. I should have said hi and should have taken a picture of him, but I didn't. So, but I have to say this: it's like they've done a lot to get people up to speed on what's going on. It's very user friendly. It's way different from San Diego Comic-Con. They're just different. You can't compare the two of them. So I mean you can pair them, but to me, you go to each one for something different. They have way more stars at San Diego. There's just no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Okay.
Way more stars there.
Okay, I think there you go, topless bloke. That's gonna.
Oh, okay.
Didn't need to see that. Oh, there we go.
You got to live with it. I'm sorry, but I had to see it, so you guys got to see it too. Okay.
Well, tell you what. Let's flip round for a second. Let's have a chat with yourself.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me.
Yeah. As we have a bit of a report.
One more time. Okay.
There we go.
I meant to show you my hat. Too. Can you see it?
Yeah. Remember the
can't. Remember the can't. Because remember, I told you about the Expanse. That's my favorite show in the world, and so I picked up this hat at Comic-Con. And if you're watching the show, you'll know what it's about. Remember the can't.
Well, I mean, we've been talking sort of like beforehand about the show and about the live report, and we were talking about the content. And like you say, it's very cosplay heavy, and it's lots of celebration in terms of people coming together as fans. But what is there in terms of actual content? What's there in terms of artist rooms, panels? What's that kind of thing like
Oh
at
my
Talkin?
God! I went to the artist. It's under. I can't remember. It's underneath here. No, it's underneath the other hotel. Oh my
Do you
God!
want to move the camera a bit further away from you?
Oh, sorry
This
about
thing,
that.
right?
Sorry, guys. You know, I'm obviously not used to doing my own camera work. Okay, I apologize. But well, let me do this. Let me switch it around so you guys can just see this. There. So that way I won't do the bad thing again. Um, just real quick. No, the artist alley. All right. First of all, they have a giant building, 4 floors for the vendors. 4 floors. Okay, and that's just it's incredible walking through that place. It's just unreal. And then they have the artists, the artists downstairs in one of the hotels. I can't remember which one it is right now. I think it was a Hyatt Regency. No, it wasn't Hyatt. I think it was this one. But that that room, oh, the artist, it was really incredible. It's so easy to walk around it. You talk to the artist. I actually talked to the artist who designed the cover for the Dragon Con book, the 30th anniversary, the one I showed you at the beginning. Just just to remind you what it looks like, this one right here. I talked to the artist who designed it, and he's actually did the concept art for a couple of films, Guardian of the Galaxy, some other films too. So I mean, his work is well known.
Cool. I mean, who's been the artists that have kind of like, or the guests that have jumped out at you this time around?
Honestly, remember, there are no big stars. I mean, there are a few stars here. I went to the Dark Matter panel. I love that. Those guys are hilarious. And of course, Charlie Cox and Daredevil. Okay, I'm a Charlie Cox fan, and I'm not as bad. And I think Alyssa watches Geeking Out, and I think Kevin Smith said a rather adult thing about talking to Charlie Cox. I'm not quite that bad, but I'm almost that bad. I gotta admit. So Charlie Cox is amazing. He was hilarious. He was funny. He was entertaining. It was just great. And then the cast from Dark Matter. All those guys were just. I mean, they seemed like they actually enjoyed each other's company, and they just kept joking and having. I think they were having a great time. Because they were having a great time, we had a great time.
Cool.
So those were the panels, and then I went to see authors too. I love authors, and that's the reason why I go. The authors, or for what do you call it? The authors or the showrunners. And so here's the authors. Very few showrunners here, but authors, plenty. So,
cool. I mean, okay, so I mean, I think this is something that's kind of off the back of most conventions that we've been doing reports on. Just how busy the Sundays are nowadays. They just are absolutely rammed.
Well, remember, we're on a 4-day weekend here, so or 3-day weekend. I'm sorry, 3-day weekend. And
because of Labor Day, yeah.
Yeah, Labor Day tomorrow, so that makes it easy for people to show up here. So our Sunday is going to be tomorrow, Monday, but so this is coming on. This is not as Saturday. Oh my God, the crowd for the parade. Oh my God, that was wicked. Oh, that was wicked. And this place was so crowded yesterday, But as you can tell, it's not exactly empty now, right?
No, it's not. Certainly not.
Yeah.
So, okay, and you've been to see around the Artist Alley. I mean, have you been able to attend any panels at all? Which ones have you been to get to see?
Yeah. I went to a panel this morning already, and again, I went to see Charlie Cox, saw Dark Matter. I went to another panel. The one this morning was a fan panel. I went to the fantasy writers, and that was good. Oh my God, those guys are great. I love the fantasy authors. Those are amazing. So mainly it's been the fantasy authors. I need to tell you guys this. They do what's called tracks here, okay? And then so for instance, like tomorrow, I'm going to be on a panel for sci-fi, sci-fi genre track, okay? Or no, genre TV track. There's fantasy, there's sci-fi and fantasy, military sci-fi. It just goes all over. It's like 30 tracks or something, maybe not 30, 25 tracks or something or whatever. But they emphasize those specific things, and then what you do is you can attend those panels or obviously other panels, but they're very specific. And it's
so the panels don't overlap. They kind of like flow into each other.
Well, the panels they tend to be very specific to a specific type of genre or subject, i.e., anime, uh, military sci-fi. Uh, they have one called Brit Track, by the way, Leonard, Brit Track. Okay, so and then they have the Whedon universe. They had Doctor Who. So they have these different tracks, and in those different tracks they could have like 10 or in any given day they'll have 5 panels in that track. So multiply 5 times, I mean, well, no, not 5. I'm the panels go from 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night.
So it's a very, I mean, the other thing I've kind of been hearing as well, that it's a very late show, if anything, for the guests.
Yes.
Just it's very much party central.
They start at 10 in the morning, and they always say thank you for showing up at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because I'm not lying. I mean, I had a friend who I won't mention was out at 1 o'clock the other night, and the streets were crowded at 1 o'clock, and people were looking for another party. So I'm just saying, some people stayed up late.
Excellent stuff. So just to get a sense of the lay of the land, you were talking about the fact that there's various hotels that host it. How many hotels actually host Dragon Con? Is it 4?
Okay, I think 5, because we have the Marriott Marquis, we have the Hyatt Regency, we have the Hilton, we have the Sheraton, and we have the Westin. So that's 5 hotels, and they're huge, as you can tell from this little.
Now, so the one thing, the thing that kind of scares me there then is because of the way that hotels do like to take advantage of us convention goers, they like to charge accordingly. Is it an expensive con to attend?
No, and Leonard, I'm glad you asked that question because they do something very wonderful here. They have what they have called legacy, all right? And if you stayed at the hotel this year, but as you get ready, if you check out on Monday, late Monday, you can actually go to the hotel and rebook for next year. So that they'll allow you to book for next year. But of course, it's obviously non-refundable. But I mean, it makes it's better than Hotel Armageddon. I mean, or Hotel Apocalypse that the Comic-Con does. And so that's really good. And actually, you can start, like for instance, I'm staying at the Westin. Starting on Tuesday at the Westin, Tuesday morning, I can actually call a number and book the Westin for next year.
Wow. I also like the convenience of the convenience as well of having your hotel room. The panel rooms are in the hotels. It's all just within walking distance, and you don't even have to go outside if you don't necessarily need to. It's all. I like that. I think that's really kind of cool.
Well, it's really good. It's really good. But I got to tell you that it's nice because that heat here and the humidity is wicked. But now, having said that, the people who've got if they want to go from from different panels to panels or different tracks to different tracks, if they've got to move to different, go up to hotels, I mean, it's not a great distance, but some of it's uphill, and if you're wearing a costume, and God bless these women that can wear heels in this heat and in this environment, but that's kind of wicked on them. I got to tell you, that's wicked on them. It's got to be.
I mean, just the amount of people that's moving around this hotel, just from what I'm seeing here on screen, it's just immense.
It really is. It's just incredible. The amazing part about it, of course, the good part about it is considering the heat and the number of people, the number of tempers that flare is really, really small. I think if this were any other environment, i.e. football players, or sports people, I don't know that people would be this calm in this heat, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
But it's just really exciting.
I know it's 1:20 for you in Atlanta. What's kind of on your track for the rest of the day, or what's on your agenda for the rest of Dragon Con?
I've got to find my partner in crime. Okay, let me switch this around. I think I've got it now, so you won't see my nose hairs. Okay, so here we go. I've got to talk to my partner in crime and see what she's up to. I've got a schedule. Oh, by the way, I've got to say this. They've got the best app ever. Their app is I wish everybody would learn from them how to do an app. Their app is so good, Leonard. It is so good with the maps and everything else and the tracks, and then you can do the search on the specific person that you want to see. I just they know what they're doing. They really do know what they're doing. You know.
Cool.
So I have to give them kudos on that. But yeah, I'm gonna look at my schedule because I gotta tell you, there's so much going on. It's just too hard to figure it out. So I uploaded my schedule, so I just checked my schedule to see where I'm supposed to be next.
Excellent stuff. Well, I mean, we'll kind of let you get off and enjoy the rest of your con. But thank you very much indeed for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
So, I mean, is it going to be a late night for you tonight, or are you going to be taking it a little bit steady? Are you one of these people that takes it steady on an evening, or do you actually go out and enjoy?
It depends. If I'm invited to a party, I'll go out and party. But you know, just to walk around and drink, I've done that. You know,
Well,
I'm
you know,
21 and I'm not 30 anymore. You know, I've done.
well, if you're invited to a party, it's rude not to go, right?
Oh, are you kidding? If I'm invited to a party and there are free adult beverages, I am your best friend in the world. I am your best friend in the world. Then.
Excellent stuff.
But,
so tell you what,
yeah.
one more time, if you can just give us a one last sweep of the hotel and just sort of let us see one last glimpse of, or certainly of the. It just looks absolutely. I mean, I know I've been saying bedlam, but to be honest, from the way you're describing it, it just seems really kind of a controlled chaos. I'm loving it.
It is. And I've got to give a shout out to the staff at the Marriott and to their security. They've done an excellent job. I mean, they're around here and they're very quietly keeping things in order, but you can't even tell they're doing it. But look at how things are kind of flowing. I mean, it's constantly moving, right? It's all lots of people, but it's always moving. And the staff here, see, did you see that? She was trying to go the wrong way and he stopped her.
Just nicely.
That's what they're here for. I mean, they're doing a really outstanding job. So,
Excellent.
I just kudos to them. Totally
Excellent.
So I just want to say a good word. And
brilliant. Michael, we'll let you get off. Enjoy the rest of Dragon Con. Thank you so much for doing a little report for us. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys for having me. All right, talk to you later, Leonard.
Okay, take care.
Adios.
Brilliant.
Bye.
Excellent. So there you go. That's Michael P, who's done a report there from Dragon Con. We've got one or two people who've jumped in on the chat room of our YouTube. Scott Angus saying Dragon Con is known for the cosplay, and yeah, I'm certainly seeing that. I do know that the Sneaky Zebra, and we have invited them on to join us, but I know they're incredibly busy this weekend, because this will be kind of nirvana for them, just to see all the cosplay that's going on. Scott Angus is also saying Dragon Con is sorry, this is Isabel Gutierrez, sorry, is on my bucket list. Me too. I mean, I think the first time I heard about Dragon Con was about 4 or 5 years ago, when Will Wheaton and Chris Hardwick, single boys at that point, either that or he had just Chris had just hooked up with somebody whose name escapes me. But basically, they knew that they were in for a good weekend, and they were. I mean, that's when I first heard about Dragon Con, and it was kind of like a case of, okay, this is where we go to cut loose. So you know, I think that's definitely what I'd like to go to Dragon Con for. It just seems like so much fun, certainly for us grown-ups. But there we go. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed to Michael for joining us for that. However, we now move on to our next live report, and we're joined by Alyssa Franks from Star Trek Missions, New York. How are you doing, Alyssa?
I am well. Tired, you know, Sunday at con. I will say that this is a much smaller con than Dragon Con. I would have enjoyed to go to Dragon Con, however, the plane flights down there. Plus, it seems as though that it's a lot more commitment level, much higher commitment level is required to go to Dragon Con, and it really has to be a centerpiece, like in the scale of New York City Comic-Con or San Diego. And I wasn't really willing to do that at this point. However, Star Trek Missions is a very nice con. It's probably, I want to say, somewhere between a total attendance, I would guess, and this is a pure guess on my part, in the neighborhood of 10 to 20,000 people over the course of the 3 days. There is always room. There is plenty of room. I think four of us had lunch in the middle of one of the main walkways yesterday, just stood there and eating our sandwiches, deciding where we were going to go next. Nobody bumped into us, you know, so there's plenty of elbow room here. If anybody is interested in coming and making this part of a weekend or a long week vacation in New York City, I would highly recommend it.
Cool. I mean, is Star Trek Missions a annual event, or is this something special for the 50th anniversary?
The idea that I'm getting is that they would like it to be an annual event. Whether or not it would be in New York City is not exactly known yet. I will say that this particular venue that they have it in currently is tailor-made for it. I don't know if anybody was able to see the pictures that I had.
Well, that's the question I was going to ask, because I wasn't too sure. Whereabouts is Star Trek Missions being held in New York? It's
in the Javits Center, where Artist Alley was for New York Comic-Con. Apparently, there's going to be some construction. It may not be here next year. You know, there's a lot of things in flux. However, this year it is in Artist Alley. I'm going to flip the camera around so people can get an idea of the space. Let's try that again. And there we go. So you can see the entire, as I do a scan through, you can even see the back of the room. The show floor is relatively small.
Right.
But I will say it does pack some really deep and interesting booths. Two booths in particular. One is, so you can sort of go down and right in front, and we'll go down and take a look at that. I'm kind of holding on here for a moment, hoping to be joined by the Bryan Stephenson from Reed Pop, who has promised to give us a couple of minutes of his busy Sunday. But the other very interesting booth on the show floor has been the Ubisoft's Star Trek Bridge Crew booth. That I'm going to put some pictures up on my daily blog post for it today. And they had a raffle for the time slots today. Everybody was there trying to win a time slot for this. It is incredibly immersive. I'm not a video gamer, but I'm considering spending the $600 on an Oculus system.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's my level of commitment to this game. Right.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, we've got one or two people from on the chat room turn around. How much of the booths have you been able to see? Because Samantha Beard is saying that the Rock Love booth looked amazing. Have you been able to have a really good look round, or?
Yep, absolutely. We can certainly do that now.
Well, I meant beforehand. Have you had the chance this weekend to have a look, or has it been panels for you? What's been your focus at this event?
My focus has been primarily the floor, and I've been doing some tech talk panels too. So it's all been about SETI, search for extraterrestrial life. What will life take? Some pretty heavy hitting science panels today. I did, and I'm kicking myself today. I did make it a priority yesterday to do the Star Trek Discovery for the new CBS show.
The new Bryan Fuller show. Oh,
yeah,
right, okay.
I just shoot myself in the foot for just not getting myself over there. But these things happen at con. That's the only thing I can say.
So
anyway,
I mean, just to clarify, I mean, is that the only kind of room that Star Trek Mission is taking up in terms of the exhibition floor, or are there other rooms as well?
Nope, this is the only room. I am going to swing the camera around, and we can certainly take a walk around it. It's probably, you know, to hit the highlights of the floor will probably take us 5 or 10 minutes at the most. Let me swing around though and see if I can get Bryan. I'm doing the slow pan, not to make anybody sick. This is the entrance where you come from the Javits Center. That's the concourse there. And then,
I am loving how many people are actually who have made the investment in getting a Star Trek uniform.
Oh, the cosplay.
Those things aren't cheap.
They aren't, and the cosplay is absolutely intense. I'm walking over to see if I could find Bryan now, because it is exactly 1:30. This they've also put quite a bit in their merchandising and in their placards. You'll notice I'm just going to kind of come over here and do a quick pan of how many things are sold out.
Wow.
I'm going to just squeeze here.
That's a lot of red tape over a lot of items. Yeah.
Yep. All of that.
Still, there we go. The one thing that you do find at ReedPop events is popular stuff. It's high quality gear, and people are very much up for a decent piece of memorabilia from the con. So excellent stuff.
Plus, I don't think that, given the fact that this is a newer show, I don't think that people had put that ReedPop had bought a lot of merchandise to the show, and I believe they are looking at getting more merchandise, relicensing some merchandise. So I'm taking a walk down onto the floor. The first thing that I've come to here is the they were selling a couple of San Diego exclusives, the Star Trek Enterprise. They even had the author, the writer, the creator, the designer of the Enterprise, the Hallmark ornament Enterprise, here today, doing signings of that ornament.
Cool. I mean, we've got Sarita P, who's joined us on the chat, saying that the original Star Trek set, going and sitting in the captain's chair was pretty cool. Have you been able to get the chance? You've had the chance?
I did, and I posted a picture. We'll get to that. Right now, I'm at the NASA booth here, and this is the beginning of the NASA booth, where they've got some exhibits for people to look at.
I think that's very much the difference between, say, Star Trek and Star Wars. Star Trek is very much, Star Wars is very much in its own universe, as it were, whereas Star Trek kind of like encourages people to look to the future, and taking that step via SETI, via NASA, via the actual science elements of sci-fi.
And the neat thing is that NASA seems to you'll just enjoy that little bit of cosplay going on there.
Now you see, he could turn around and say he's a perfectly decent Jonathan Frakes, but she's doing a pretty good Terry Farrell for my liking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You see, I do know some of the names.
Yeah. This is also part of the NASA booth. It's a huge booth. They have it set up probably, I want to say 30 by 50, and they have it set up basically so everybody's got triangles, and then each of these areas have technology of specifics that go into developing all of the probes and rovers and all of that. So you've got things like the propulsion,
that's a big stand.
Mm-hmm.
And people turn around and say that NASA haven't got the money. Good grief.
Yep.
Wow.
No, and I think I mean, this is the centerpiece of the booth. This is, so we've seen half of it. Now I'm moving over into one more half that has it talks about surveying exoplanets. So you've got tests and various satellites and Kepler 16. and we'll get to the rest of it in half a second. I will say that they've been giving out some amazing swag at this booth. Those posters are just to die for.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
I think a number of us are aware just how big you are into your science. We've got Aaron Neighbours who's asking, have you managed to see Neil deGrasse Tyson this time round?
No, he has not been here.
Oh, man.
I'm just going to... Yeah, I was really kind of upset. Thank you. So that's pretty much the NASA booth there. Just to wrap up on them for 1 minute while I walk over to the Star Trek Beyond, the Star Trek show that's airing tonight on the Smithsonian Channel. I think it's called Building Star Trek. And they've got a nice exhibit here. They did a premiere of it. But to wrap up on NASA, it seems as though that they're really making an effort to cultivate the geeks and the science fiction fans, because they're finally realizing, for some strange reason it took them this long, that we could be really big supporters of theirs. So that Smithsonian show that you're seeing in the background there, I believe is on tonight. I want to say 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock on the East Coast on the Smithsonian Channel.
Fair enough. You've got some questions coming in on the Q&A. Basically, I know that you've been taking part in a VR experience, which we talked about earlier. What was that like?
Oh, hands down. I mean, did you not hear what I said? I'm considering spending $600 on the Oculus Rift to get into this.
Yeah, but you didn't actually describe what you saw or what was the experience.
Well, at the Bridge Crew, which is coming, the Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is coming up right over here, we have all of the 4 stations of the particular game. So you've got, just to get into particulars, and I'm going to try and zoom into a particular screen so you guys can see happening here. These are all 4 people playing the game. You have the captain, who is in this demonstration a crew member, and then an Oculus Rift employee, so that they're directing people and explaining to people how to use the controls. If people, then the other 3 positions are navigator, tactical, and engineer. I've played 2 of these positions, navigator and engineer, and in both of them I have been completely immersed in it. It is a 360-degree sensation of being there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I don't think that I can zoom into a particular screen.
That's okay.
That you're.
Well, it's very difficult to describe this for the audio version as well, so it's it doesn't. It's fine. We kind of get the sense of it anyway. Well, certainly the one thing I'm interested in is just the general experience of the con. Like you say, it's just the one room, so there's not a great deal of walking around. I mean, you've had Jason asking how is the SDCC fit going and how's that been applied. Is there really the need to move around as much because it is all in one room?
No, there isn't in reality, and I'm just going to kind of catch a couple of the other booths while I'm talking about the fit. It isn't as necessary, but New York is all about walking. It's just the way of it, in that you have to park blocks away. You can't get a close hotel room. There's a lot less smaller community like there is in San Diego. So consequently, you are ending up just powering through things. And of course, the person who I'm staying with, Mike, is a very fast New York walker. So I'm a little behind in terms of that. However, my feet are fine. It's not an intense con because there isn't a lot of floor space to be covered.
Okay, so well, let's talk about the panel rooms then. How many rooms are there available for the panels?
I believe there's the main stage, which is about a 3,000 seat venue. And then we have...
Sorry, am I seeing a Doctor Who cosplayer at a Star Trek convention?
A mashup. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Okay, sorry, I interrupted there. I had to interrupt. So, okay, so you're talking...
No, go right ahead.
So you're talking 3,500 for the main room. You say there were other rooms as well?
Yep, there's a couple of other rooms in the back. I want to say that they're probably 200 room, 200 seat venues. I'm making my way, just for your information, to the Star Trek set. And you can see it in the coming up. The line to sit in the captain's chair will walk the line, and you will be like, oh, really?
I'm not entirely surprised. Let's be fair.
Mm-hmm. This will give you an idea about what people are doing. This set, if I recall correctly, you guys have a museum in upstate New York. I can't. Yeah, it's unfortunately I'm not going to be able to hear what you have to say. But what I'd like to do is to give.
Okay, so this is a original series set tour located in. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
Yeah.
Ticonderoga.
Ticonderoga.
There we go. Okay. Excellent
with
stuff.
The URL of StarTrekTours.com.
Okay.
And this is just to give you an idea of what people are doing. They've got the all of that, the background behind it, plus people are standing there taking pictures of you in various different positions. The line to do this is, and I'm going to give an example of the SCCC fit so people can understand how long this line goes. Yes.
You don't have to break yourself to do this, you know.
Oh no, I'm not. Oh no. Just let me know if I'm breathing too hard. That's the big thing that we don't want to do, is give anybody an example. And then we do the big turnaround.
That's not a line. That's not a line.
Oh, come on. So this is the back of the line here, this gentleman.
That's still a good 200-300 people.
It is.
About
it
200 people. Cool.
I was standing in it yesterday, and it took probably about, I did. And it probably took, I want to say 45 minutes to get through it from about here around.
Well, I can imagine it is a very popular thing, and people do want to kind of get the most out of their time on the captain's chair, I can imagine. Excellent. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's. I know that you wanted to try and get hold of Bryan, but I can imagine he's incredibly busy at this point. So let's just take an overview of the convention from your own perspective as a Trekker. And as I know you are a hardcore Trekker, is this a convention that celebrates the past, or is it something that is very much looking towards the future of Star Trek? What would you say that?
It celebrates the past, absolutely, but it also, what ReedPop has managed to do. This is the booth for the Star Trek MMO. It's called Star Trek Online, and it was a good game. I don't want to sell it short, but it is a screen MMO type of a thing, pretty standard play, unlike the Star Trek Bridge Crew game.
Well, I mean, I
So,
think it's safe to say the Star Trek bridge crew is a whole other level. That's something else.
Yep. It just brings it into where people who don't game can game.
Okay.
They don't have to. You don't have to think about the controller.
Sure.
To get back to your question, while it celebrates the old, Reed Pop has put, with the addition and money that they've been putting into the event, with the banners and the normal things that we attribute towards that a convention should do for a Comic-Con, they have been putting that money into doing a Star Trek convention. And in general, the fans who are used to more smaller cons, and they're not used to having this all of this attention to detail paid, have been very responsive and very happy with it.
Cool.
We even have the IDW booth where we had John Byrne signing yesterday.
I'm just wondering if Rachel Stott's there, actually.
We have Dirk Charm and Mike Johnson are here currently.
There we go. Okay.
I did just get a message from Bryan and that he is in the store.
Okay.
So I am taking a shortcut through the NASA booth because they have carpeting. And, you know, it's Sunday and we use escalators and elevators and carpeting.
Fair enough.
I'll
tell you what, while you're making that brief walk to the store, let's do a little bit of SDCC news, or certainly the highlights of what's happening at the moment in terms of some headlines that have done the rounds in the last 7 days, while Alyssa's just making that walk. Certainly one of the highlights of the SDCC news is the news that they have invested via a shell company, or a company which CCI is a parent of, to invest in 3 buildings in downtown San Diego, which are going to be used at this point. We don't know what for. We don't know if it's going to be for storage. We don't know if it's going to be some kind of expansion of the convention, but it is showing an investment of CCI in San Diego beyond their 2018 deadline, which they are set up with the agreement with the convention center. A lot of people have been picking up on the news as well about the way that they finance this as a non-profit company. They do have a secondary company which is using this, because at the legals of being a non-profit charity, they have to disclose their tax usages and also their finances of their of what they do with their money. They do have a lot of money in the coffers, and this is certainly a way that they have been able to use some of that money as expansion into San Diego. So very interested in that indeed. We'll come back to some more news headlines in a bit, but Alyssa is currently with Bryan, who is crossing off yet another item on the merch store. Well, we have a little bit of a picture drop off there, but oh, there we go. Excellent stuff. So yeah, I managed to speak to Bryan at Star Wars Celebration. So he's, I can imagine, very much in the similar role at this event, kind of balancing all the things that are happening and all the things that are being sold. Yeah, let's see if we can talk to Bryan Stevenson.
I am trying to. He was here. You saw him. He put the sticker on. And then he said, "I'll be right back." So we're kind of in the we'll see. We're seeing where he is mode while I try and get my phone to start charging, because somehow we may have some technical difficulties.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I mean, like I say, we do have some more sort of like news stories that we can cover while we're just talking about that. Another part of the investment into the city, which is slightly related to this, is regarding the San Diego Symphony musicians have signed a new 5-year pact, which should help the over 100-year-old orchestra pursuing its expansion plans within San Diego. But they have done, or they've had to do, some very rigorous negotiations to stay in San Diego. It's proving very much another bit of balancing act, and it's all down to the issues in terms of where the money is coming from the city. And once again, that ugly subject has reared its head of the money coming and being dedicated to the Chargers Stadium and to Petco Park. It's something that I'm going to be paying very close attention to. But in terms of just the money that's going around San Diego at the moment, and the kind of the discussions that are having to happen within San Diego just to keep these events and these organizations inside the town, is just proving very dramatic indeed. Now, Alyssa's turned her sound off, which means I think she's currently... Oh, no, I see Bryan there.
Yeah, he had about 4 signs that he needed to to come. Okay, take a deep breath. Ready? I'm going to mute the mic so that we guys don't hear the sound.
Fair enough. Yeah, this is... Now then,
yep.
Now
cool.
then, sir. How are you doing?
Hi.
How are you doing, Bryan?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Leonard?
I'm fine, thank you. Now, the last time we spoke was at Star Wars Celebration, and you had you had a team around you who were running around like a blue arse fly, but you seem to be this time very much on your feet, especially when it comes to all the items that are selling out. How's it going on the merch store?
Everything's going fantastically well. You know, this is our first time doing a Star Trek event with our partners at CBS, so we weren't sure, you know, how much merch to order, what should we order, how are fans going to respond to it. But obviously the response has been overwhelming. We're almost sold out of everything. So, you know, now we're trying to find out if we can reprint any of it. So we're extremely happy. The fans are extremely happy. It's going really, really well. So it's awesome. Great time.
Excellent. What's the tone been like? What's the vibe been like at this convention? Like you say, it's the first one that you've done here at the Javits Center. Yep. So what's the atmosphere been like of the fans that have attended?
It's amazing, actually. You know, I've had countless fans come up and just saying like, oh my God, this is the experience we've been looking for. You know, things like that. Like, we really set about trying to create something that was unique for fans, that had some Star Trek elements that they have never experienced before, that would honor the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, but then also, you know, showcase the impact of Star Trek on the real world. So we've actually got NASA here. We've got the chief scientists of SETI here. We've got a whole gaming zone where people could play the VR game for the first time. And I know Alyssa and Mike and everybody.
We've just had the tour. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. So it's been going extremely, extremely well, and fans are really, really happy. You know, it was going into it, you know, we're thinking about it, and it's just like, well, Star Trek kind of really, in some ways, created the fan convention concept, you know, back 50 years ago. And like, this community is just looking for this type of experience. And we took it very seriously, and we wanted to do something special for them. And they've really rewarded us with an awesome experience and all of their excitement and all of their passion. And it's been amazing to see. I'm very, very happy about how this event's gone.
I mean, the one thing that Alyssa was explaining was that when she's been speaking to people, that they've been really struck with the high quality that Repop brought to the event, which is obviously something which is very important to Star Trek fans, because they are very demanding about what they want from a convention. What have you heard in terms of the panels and the content that you've brought? I mean, has there been any highlights that have jumped out at you this event?
There's been a couple. I thought last night we did a table reading of The Voyage Home, which, you know, going into it, Mark Altman, who put it together, wasn't sure like if this is going to work, or is it going to be cool, or are fans going to like it, or are they not? And the casting was amazing. I mean, Mary Stuart Masterson playing Kirk, which was really cool, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it brought in all these different actors, which are well known in a variety of TV shows and other things, and they just had a really good time with it. And it was so unique and different, and nobody's seen anything like that. And that was really just so much fun. And the fans have been talking about it all day. But also there's been things like NASA and SETI talking about actual space exploration and how Star Trek influenced them as kids to become astronauts. I mean, things like that, and those stories that kind of come out of an event like this really have an impact on people. And that's what's been most interesting as far as the panels go. There's been a bunch of other ones. Like this afternoon, we've got Voyager just went off stage. Kate Mulgrew got a standing ovation. It was amazing. And then we've got Walter Koenig and William Shatner coming up, obviously highlighting the 50th and having those two iconic actors from the original series here. I'm sure that's going to be a highlight of everybody's day.
I think that could be an interesting panel just because of the history between those two. So no, that could be
Absolutely.
interesting. That could be cool. The one thing that I mentioned to Alyssa as well is that not only is it celebrating the 50 years of Star Trek, you're also looking to the future, what with Star Trek Discovery just around the corner. We're also talking about the future of the event. Is it possible that this could be an annual event for ReedPop? And if so, is it going to stay in New York, or are you thinking of moving it around?
Yeah, that's all TD. And as you said, like, it's a great time to be a Star Trek fan because Discovery is on the horizon. It's coming. It's going to be big. We had a panel here about Discovery too with the writers, and there was some little things that came out in there, and it's just getting the fans more and more excited about, there's going to be new content. There's going to be stuff to get excited about. There's going to be a whole nother generation of fans that hopefully comes into the franchise. And then obviously the performance of the movie this summer with Star Trek Beyond doing unbelievably well. I think for future missions, as we're thinking about future missions, that we'll definitely be highlighting the past, present, and future of this event, and there will always be some future-facing elements to what we do going forward. We've got a big meeting with our partners at CBS tonight. I know they're really happy about everything, and we're going to be going through some different options. We could very well bring this back to New York and try to make it even bigger and better in the future. It could travel to other cities. It could travel international. So the sky's kind of the limit right now, but I think everybody's feeling really good about where the event's headed, the experience we've delivered, because I think we did deliver a unique premium experience on this one. And, we'll see what fans think too. We're going to do some focus groups after the fact, really get some honest feedback, hopefully in our surveys. And then we'll decide what the future holds. And hopefully we'll be able to make an announcement about the future sooner, much, much sooner rather than later. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, there's sooner rather than later, and I like the way that you said the word so like focus groups and meetings, and you didn't use air quotes as though there's going to be no adult beverages involved in those conversations at all.
You know us too well. You know us too well, Leonard.
Just a couple of questions. We've got someone who's jumping in on the chat room because we've got the new feature on the YouTube Live. Andrew English is saying hoping for international. I think it's certainly something that he's hoping, in very much like the Star Wars celebrations, that you could take it worldwide. And Sarita P is asking, do you think there will be any merch available online? Whereas I'm just thinking there's going to be any merch available, period.
Yeah. So on the international piece, I think, obviously this franchise is able to go and travel just as well as Star Wars does. So, and with, the global nature of what we do, we've actually got our team from Austria here experiencing this event with us. So, I think there's a lot of potential for international. I don't know if that'll be the next one or not. Like, that's going to be, CBS is going to help us with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of it. And then we'll see where that goes. And then as far as the merch goes, we're still waiting on a firm answer. We are telling everybody to sign up for the newsletter or follow Star Trek Missions on social. We will update everybody one way or another if we're going to be able to make more merch or not. I know it's highly, highly in demand, and everybody wants to get more of this. So that's another question for the meeting tonight on if we're going to be able to do that. If not, I definitely can assure you we'll do a lot more in the future and future missions if there are any, which my fingers are crossed that there will be. So we'll keep everybody posted for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's probably the best way to wrap things up then. If you could actually, let us know
cool.
what's the best way for us to keep an eye on what's the future for missions.
Definitely go to Star Trek Missions .com for the website. We'll be posting stuff there. You can sign up for our newsletter right there. You can also follow us on social at Star Trek Missions on Facebook and Instagram, and then Star Trek Mission without an S due to the length of Twitter's handles. So it's Star Trek Mission on Twitter, Star Trek Missions everywhere else. And hey, I've got a nice English hat on for you today, by the way, Leonard. I wore this special for this interview.
We're rocking the flat caps. I like it. It's certainly standing out. That's brilliant. Bryan,
Awesome.
Thank you very much indeed. I'll let you count. I'll let you count the other remaining 6 T-shirts that you've got left to sell. And
yeah, I think it's 4 now.
Oh man! And I'll let you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bryan, thank you so much. Take care.
Thanks.
Man.
It was great to talk to you. All right.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Take care. Excellent stuff. I do like talking to Bryan. The man really is passionate about what ReedPop does with its events. So thank you very much indeed to Bryan for that time. I'll let him stick his rucksack back on and just kind of hydrate and get himself back into it. That's fantastic. Excellent stuff. And he's gone. He's off. Fantastic.
Yes, probably to another interview.
Excellent. Right then, Alyssa, just to wrap things up then. Positive experience. What can you take away from this convention? I mean, has it been something that you would come back to, or what would you suggest to them as a thing moving forward?
Suggest to them, I'm not quite sure of. I hadn't come up with an idea for that. With regards to personally, this is perhaps a day and a half con. You want to look at the schedule, pick your days, unless the cost of a 3-day ticket is the cost of a single or a single and a half days ticket. You want to do your money beforehand,
sure.
But it's not.
I think the question then really is then, can this be? If you took the panels out of the equation, could you do this in a day?
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about the stamps. The U.S. Postal Service issued first day stamps, first day covers for their Star Trek stamps that they put on sale today. Or I'm sorry, last Friday. There was an entire panel with Walter I cannot pronounce his last name, Chekhov in the original series.
Walter Koenig.
Koenig.
You're supposed to be the Trekkie.
I know it. Life happens. So there was all of the higher of the U.S. Postal System were in the building presenting and issuing these stamps. So that's been a huge line getting those stamps canceled, because first day covers, if anybody doesn't know about stamp collecting, are the coveted, one of the rare coveted stamps to get.
Okay.
Another huge line.
Right.
I would do it again. I'm not sure how much money I would sink into it, but it is absolutely worth it. The panels are very interesting, and unlike, I think where we're going with conventions, just to wrap it up here, is that it seems like things are getting a little bit more streamlined for particular areas. You're still going to have the San Diegos and the Dragon Cons, but it also seems like that you're starting to get conventions for cosplaying, conventions for Star Trek, Star Wars conventions.
It's splintering down into very specific areas of fandom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One thing to add is that Simplicity, who does dress patterns historically, is now getting into cosplaying, and they have an entire line. And I could do this quickly if we still have a moment. While
okay.
Okay. Well, I'm just doing that there. The booth is right behind the Hallmark booth, so you get an idea about how fast Alyssa will move through a con.
I just think I know exactly who you're hitting up as sponsorship for the forum.
That sounds good. This is the Simplicity booth here. And you'll see that they've got mannequins with a representation of the patterns They've got their website, and they are actually selling at the convention patterns.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a brilliant idea. I don't know why people haven't thought of this before.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, Alyssa, we'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your convention. And what have you got lined up for this afternoon?
Just one brief thing to say. Sorry, there's going to be no weekend television. I did mention the Star Trek thing. Go on my blog. I can't access it at the same time that I'm doing the video show. The rest of the day, there's a couple of Trek Talk panels. I'm going to see if I can get into the last big NASA panel. I don't know. I think we're going to go out for a nice meal, maybe with some drinks. Although I'm driving.
Keep it footloose and fancy-free. I like it. Excellent stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool.
We'll
Alyssa,
see everybody next week.
Absolutely. Alyssa is going to be hosting the show next week because I'm going to be doing my live report from ICE. But thank you very much indeed for joining us, Alyssa.
You're welcome, Leonard. I'll be with you till the end of the show.
Oh, okay. Excellent stuff. Right. So in that case, let's do just one or two final pieces because that was a little bit longer than we were thinking. But let's see if we can wrap this up nice and quick, considering we have got just a couple of news stories that are coming up. We wanted to very quickly ask Bryan about New York Comic-Con, which, of course, Repop is now going to be gearing up for after Star Trek missions. They've made a couple of announcements over the last 7 days, 14 days about their expansion over the course of the New York Comic-Con. Certainly, they're taking over the Hammerstein Ballroom, where you've got certainly the showcase program that's going to be there is Ash versus the Evil Dead. But they have revealed their panels and screenings. So if you want to head to newyorkcomiccon.com/events/panels-and-screenings, all of the information there is listed about what they've got lined up for this year's event in October. We will hopefully be having a live report from Alyssa from that. Looking forward to seeing what New York Comic-Con delivers this year. And last but not least, if you are a professional, if you're wanting to apply for San Diego Comic-Con 2017, if you head to the CCI website, comic-con.org, they are now accepting applications for professional registration. We are gearing up at this point as well towards pre-registration. No news yet about when that's going to happen, but we are suspecting at some point in November. As soon as we find out, we will, of course, be letting you know and covering that in a special show here on the show. And that's pretty much us. I did want to try and get around to Patricia, but she's just gotten out of what she was doing at Fan Expo in Canada, and I've been told that her signal is particularly poor. So we'll let her enjoy the rest of her con as well. From all of us here on Talking Comic-Con, thank you so much for bearing with us as we've learned our new procedure when it comes to YouTube Live. Thank you very much indeed to everyone who's jumped in on the live chat as well. Scott Angus, Sarita P, Aaron Neighbors, Andrew English, Corgi Commander, hello Jason, and one or two new people in there as well. Cry Navok or Cry Havoc. Oh, it's Cry Havoc. Of course it is. Okay, I was just, so I'm getting a little bit tied up. Violet Kruger, Isabel, Graham, thank you so much for joining us. Do let everyone know that we are going to be back next week, as Alyssa is going to be in this position hosting the show, and I'm going to be doing my out and about, walking around and checking out ICE, International Comics Expo. That's next Sunday. We're live from 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. GMT. We'd love for you to join us. From everyone on Talking Comic-Con, do take care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Alyssa, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I did find the Rock Love booth and am having just a couple of pictures. This is from a necklace that I showed off earlier. And if anybody is interested, Rock Love, their stuff is gorgeous.
Now, you see, that's
have a nice day, week.
You see, that's the kind of thing that I would like to wear, maybe an earring, but moving on. Take care, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, all.